Hey guys, JV here with a commentary about human squad mates in Mass Effect. I'm 61 hours into Andromeda so far. I've done Liam and Cora's loyalty missions, and already I feel like these are more compelling squad mates than Kaidan and Ashley ever were across the 3 games in the original trilogy. Now, it should go without saying, but this is a subjective opinion, and you may not agree with me. I don't expect everyone to agree, and if that's the case, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Expect some light spoilers in this video relating to these characters, nothing super specific, but we are talking about their character development over the story with loyalty missions and such, so definitely expect that. Before we begin, quick reminder that you'll find Andromeda tips and tricks, guides, commentary, and my 100% completion streams on this channel. If any of that interests you, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to start by briefly sharing how I feel about Kaidan and Ashley, and I never really thought much of either character in the original trilogy. This isn't something new, by the way. It's not something I discovered when playing Andromeda. I'm a big fan of this series and the franchise, and so I played the original trilogy over and over several times. They kind of occupy similar roles after the events of Mass Effect 1, but they do have individual backgrounds. They are fundamentally different characters. So let's start it with Ashley. Obviously, one of the first red flags for me personally was her distrust of aliens aboard the Normandy. As Shepard, I would always say, yeah, whoa, hold on. Let's not just write off all aliens because we distrust them because of the First Contact War with the Turians and all of that. Now, I won't lie and say it didn't create an interesting dynamic aboard the Normandy. Not everyone was on board. There's dissenting opinions and, you know, that's interesting stuff, right? But beyond that, she was fairly bland, I thought, with her Alliance background, came from a military family. I think she hinted at that she was religious. I'm just kind of naming off some characteristics of Ashley. And beyond that, I didn't find very much character development or value out of Ashley throughout the original trilogy. I found Kaidan's history to be a bit more interesting than Ashley's, given that he was a biotic and everything that goes along with that. But in practice, his dialogue felt a bit bland too, and they're kind of, you know, two sides of the same coin pretty much. They both have a very by-the-book military demeanor. That makes sense. They both have Alliance backgrounds, military backgrounds. And when criticizing Kaidan and Ashley, something I don't think a lot of people mention is how strong the other cast is, all of the aliens. And I think just inherently being an alien and having a different culture and background just kind of propels them a level above Kaidan and Ashley, and it's kind of hard for them to keep up. Now, that's no excuse for, you know, other characters that are human further on in the trilogy that are far more interesting than Kaidan and Ashley, but it is something to think about. Depending on the decisions made on Vermeer, either one would show up in Mass Effect 2 very briefly, and their role in Mass Effect 2 was always really annoying to me because their sole purpose is to doubt Shepard. After all of the events of Mass Effect 1, after everything that went down with Sara and Sovereign and the Reapers, it just really irritated me, and it does make sense after Lazarus and Cerberus and the reputation that they have within the universe, but I'm still not a fan of that sequence, and I think that leads to a lot of people not really liking Kaidan or Ashley. In Mass Effect 3, Kaidan or Ashley gets hurt, and for the most part, I always left them for as long as I could. I don't know if you can control when they can rejoin your squad. I'm not sure on that, but when they did rejoin, there wasn't really an incentive for me to say, hey, let's bring you on a mission, Kaidan or Ashley. I just thought that they lacked depth and novelty compared to the rest of the characters in the original trilogy, and like I mentioned before, I think that's just because there were stronger characters around Shepard than Kaidan or Ashley. Now let's shift over to our Andromeda human squad mates. So let's start with Liam. He was part of a crisis response team in the Milky Way. He wanted to be an engineer but switched over to law enforcement and basically became a cop. And he kind of turns out to be this hot-headed, super emotional guy who's extremely passionate. Sometimes that passion guides him down a wrong path or an irregular path. And you can tell that he's got a real passion for exploration. That's why he joins the Initiative, and he's got a passion for success. He really wants to succeed. He's kind of like a cheerleader in some ways. Some of his more interesting moments that struck out to me are the armor diplomacy mission with Jaal, kind of his attempt at extending an olive branch with the Angarans, trying to understand and know Jaal as a friend instead of just a colleague that is working on a mission to defeat the Ket and all of that. Kind of his attempt at Angaran diplomacy, because he tried to go through proper channels with the Nexus and the Angara on Aya, but those things didn't work. Instead, we got a great kind of bonding moment between Liam, Jaal, and the Pathfinder aboard the Tempest, and it was just a memorable thing that I don't think I'll forget about Andromeda. Furthermore, you kind of see his more emotional side when he does take a risk because he's so passionate about succeeding and needs help in his loyalty mission. As a result, he kind of questions his judgment and whether his passion for success took him too far. He kind of bypassed the Pathfinder and asks for reassurance. And as the Pathfinder, you can either say, no, you should have gone through me, or don't worry about it, we handled it. Don't worry, keep doing what you're doing. You get to see that character arc in a way that I never saw Ashley or Kaidan have in the original trilogy. And overall, Liam's personality I've felt is really unique. I don't know anyone like Liam in real life. Obviously, he's a fictional character, but he has this recklessness that reminds me of Jack from the original trilogy, believe it or not. Jack was reckless in kind of an anarchy sort of way, but Liam's recklessness comes from a place of passion for success. He wants to succeed. He wants to complete the mission of the Pathfinder, find a home for humanity and Helios and all of the other Milky Way races, and so on and so forth. So far, what I've seen from Liam far exceeds the development of what I saw from Ashley or Kaidan. Now let's talk about Cora. She's similar to Kaidan in that she is a biotic. She discovered her biotics and left home at an early age, and as a result, she went through some interspecies program to train with Asari commandos, and as a result, her mentors were all Asari, and she respects the Asari so much that she literally won't stop talking about them. I know that's a point of complaint for a lot of people with Cora, and I totally get that. She was also the second in line for Pathfinder, and she was looking forward to maybe having to take that mantle, and of course, after the events of the first mission, she struggles with the final decision, and that's something that she very clearly expresses to the player early on, and then kind of backtracks and says, I will support you no matter what, we only have one opportunity here. It's like, what else is she going to do? So she kind of gets through that initial struggle, and then later on in the game, you encounter her loyalty mission that has you helping her with the Asari who are in trouble. The events of that mission end up forcing Cora to question her motivations, why she wants to be this leader, and she reflects on her mentors, the Asari, and really questions whether or not her heart and mind were in the right place, and then kind of settles into what she's good at, which is being more of a follower. Well, not a follower, but a right-hand man, a second in command, the second in line to the Pathfinder. She retains her position because that is what she is good at. And I will say that Cora is a lot more by the book and military, kind of like Kaidan and Ashley, but I find her to be more unique. And again, she has this character story arc that you don't see from either human squad mate in the original trilogy. With Liam and Cora, I found that they have a certain novelty to them. They're unique, and they have attractive personalities in that you want to learn more about them. You want to know what they're about. Liam especially, his personality is so strikingly different than anyone I've ever talked to, I feel like, in my life, that I wanted to know more about what he's thinking and the mindset that he's in. The words and phrasing that he uses are just so different from what I'm used to. And I just feel that you couldn't find any old Liam or Cora for the initiative. They're Liam and Cora. They are on the Pathfinder team, and I wouldn't replace them. On the flip side, I feel like Shepard could have found an Ashley or a Kaidan anywhere in the Alliance. They felt very replaceable to me. I think another reason I never felt attached to either character is because neither of them had a loyalty mission, and throughout the franchise and the series, that's the point where the character develops, where you learn more about their backstory, where you go and help them solve some mystery from their past or some current conflict that's holding them back from the current mission. Neither of them got that super personal character development. We didn't get to witness that. And I think a few arguments could be made on that. Number one, from a technical side of things, would BioWare have to make individual missions and one of them you would just miss out on? Because again, you leave one of them on Vermeer, or maybe the fact that they kind of weave some of their story into the main story of Mass Effect 2 and 3, but not really. I don't know. You just don't get that personal story development like you do with other characters. Now, some of you may point out it sounds like there's a degree of recency bias within me. Like, you just played this game, you're still playing it, of course you're attached to these characters. I do understand that perspective, but I do want to point out also that I did stream the original trilogy before Mass Effect Andromeda. I played Mass Effect 1 off stream, and then I streamed the entirety of 2 and 3. And so I did get to witness these characters further, and again, I just felt the same way. I didn't feel an attachment to them. And also, something could be said about Jacob and Miranda. I didn't bring them up because I don't think they're quite the equivalent that Liam and Cora are compared to Kaidan and Ashley. I never really got the hate for Jacob. Sure, he's a little bit bland, kind of like Kaidan and Ashley, but at least you get that loyalty mission. You understand why he is the way that he is. And same could be said for Miranda. I don't think anyone thinks Miranda is inherently bland. She is super interesting just given her background and loyalty mission, her connection to Cerberus and all that. But I don't think it's too wild to say that both Jacob and Miranda were better than Kaidan and Ashley. As far as comparing them to Liam and Cora, I'm not 100% sure yet. I think I'll have a better idea once I complete Andromeda. Anyways, guys, that's it for this commentary. Just wanted to reflect on some thoughts I was having about Liam and Cora. I think they're much more interesting than Kaidan and Ashley, and they did a better job of introducing new characters this time around as compared to the original trilogy, and especially Mass Effect 1 with Kaidan or Ashley. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Straight up, how do you feel about what I've said here? Who do you feel are the better pair of human squad mates, Kaidan and Ashley or Liam and Cora? Furthermore, how would you compare them with other human squad mates that we've had in the original trilogy? Jack, James Vega, Kasumi, Zaid even. How would you compare these characters to those? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for Andromeda tips and tricks guides, commentary, and my 100% completion stream continuing tonight. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.